This is Mark. Welcome. I'm having tea with Rocco, and tonight I'm having a detox tea. Detox, I take that tea typically in the beginning of the year to detoxify my system as I go into the new year. Rocco, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'll have a tea too. How's that?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be with you. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Rocco and I'm originally from South Africa. I've been in America for about 20 years, and in my heart of hearts, I believe that, we are living in the land of opportunity. It's really that, and it's been a great opportunity for me. I've been in the financial services industry for just over 15 years, and it's been just the journey of my life, and I'm really having fun, and my passion is to absolutely help people in whatever I can, whether it's with their souls, whether it's with their finances, whether it's with anything that I can really just help people and empower people. That's what I believe in my heart. I've just gotten that job, to just empower people. So that's a little bit about myself. I live in Fort Lauderdale, and I lead seminars for Landmark. I lead seminars, financial seminars. I'm a social security specialist and a retirement income specialist. And I'm also an author of a book, Risk-Free Retirement. And, I'm just having fun. I'm a rugby coach. I'm a rugby referee. And I love my life, That's it. Anything else?
Well, Rocco, that's a very positive intro, and it sounds very good. Now, one thing I want to ask you about, and it's something that I think is pretty important, is communication. And how important is communication in getting what you want out of life?
That's a great question. I wasn't quite prepared for all your questions, and it's just great. It gives me no time to think about it. But communication is so great. If I think the first thing that comes up for me about communication, it is you got to listen. You got to listen to what people ask you. Most people are hardly ever present. They just, it's something about the brain that we just want to speak, talk. And that's what we do. We talk too much. In communication, you got to be willing to listen. You got to be willing to not just only listen, but you got to be willing to get into the other person's world. Like, we all have a sea of opinion. We have opinions. And I think communication is the keys to any conversation. It's also the keys to any relationship. Whatever is in your heart, you got to communicate that. Don't hold back. Be in communication. But then when somebody's in communication with you, listen. Get in their world. Listen to what's important to them. Have not your agenda, but really have their agenda show up so you can listen and get present to what they're saying. So that's very important, communication.
Rocco, that's an excellent, solid answer. And another thing that, I get out of you is you sound very confident. And how important has confidence been to you to getting you to where you are in your life right now?
That's great. I'm actually dealing with my confidence every day. I'm a pretty confident guy, pretty upbeat, happy guy. If there's one thing that I could give anybody, it's you got to be confident. There's certain times that I'm confident, and there's certain times that I'm not as confident. Maybe we can talk about that. So when I'm a rugby referee, when I'm on the rugby field and I'm in charge of something, for instance, I referee a rugby game between 30 guys. They're running at each other, they're hitting each other. As a referee, if I'm not confident, people get hurt. If I'm not confident, people don't get what they really want in life. And that's what I've taken from that, is that how I can really help people and make a difference for people is I have two choices. My one choice is to back down and be small and play small and don't have a voice, don't have communication, or I have a choice. I can be confident. I can lift my shoulders up and really be somebody. I can be confident and make a difference. And if I'm not that, I'm small. I'm a chicken. I'm like a little white sheep. And it's not even a white sheep. It's like a black sheep. You back down and you're smaller. But when you pull up your shoulders and you take a deep breath, anybody can be confident. Anybody and anything you do, and you got to have a strong belief inside of that. So that's a little bit about confidence.
Wow, what a great answer. And you really do, live it and spell it out very, very well. Another question I want to ask you about is, how about, having sense of like one's innate power, and developing that. Obviously you're living a life that I think is very positive and you're a role model for people, but you must be inwardly driven, right?
Well, yes and no. There's two answers to that question. I think all of us would rather sit on the couch and drink tea, for a living, just relax, But, for me, I like to do that too. And if you ask me about being, born driven, no. Inner driven, I don't always know if I'm inner driven, but there's a few things that I do. And one of the things is I have goals and I have dreams. And I'm really in touch with faithfully what's possible, for being an example for people. Most people just go through life with one foot on the gas pedal, one foot on the brake pedal, and they really never fulfill their purpose. And I think that's why I'm driven. You got to be purpose driven. You got to know exactly what you want in life and when do you want to accomplish it by, and don't waste life. I think maybe that's why I'm inner driven. I just want to live life at 100%. Whatever I take on, I want to give it everything I got, because I'm really clear that I only have one life, and there's not like another life for me. So I just make every day the best day, and I live my life like today is my last life. Like even this interview with you, it's like maybe this is the last shot I have to really just like talk some sense into people. And that's what my drivenness, and it's not even driven, it's just you got to just get in touch with your own passion, your own belief, your own confidence. Once you get in touch with that true you can just explode and you can discover for yourself who you really are. And, that's what really drives me. In interviews, people are asked, what are some of the things you regret never doing? And it's amazing what people come up with right at their deathbed. I have that point of view that, man, go do everything and everything and everything. Don't miss out on any opportunities. If somebody asks you to go paddleboard, go paddleboard. If somebody asks you to go on the boat, go on the boat. If somebody asks you to go to the movies, stop saying no. Say yes. Be a yes in life. Have it come from your inner self to just make a difference for yourself and for others.
That was great. You really made me feel good. I really appreciate that.
I'm glad you're feeling good. All right.
I'm actually benefiting from this, But another question I want to ask you is like, for a lot of people have jobs, right? But what's the importance of having fun with your work? Because a lot of people have jobs that aren't having fun. So what can you tell these people about having fun?
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong having a job, but in my view, it's not bad to have a job. Let me put it that way. And the second part of a job is you don't have the freedom that somebody have, that is self-employed and inner self-driven. For most business owners, let me tell you just about my past. So you have a little bit. I'm kind of a D and an E class student. I was never the A and B and never went to college, but there was something about that for me, that I had to work for somebody because I didn't have a degree and because I wasn't the smartest kid on the block. That's the story I made up, by the way. all there was for me about that is that I had to go work for somebody. And it was so incredibly interesting. When I came here to America, I used to be a truck driver, because I thought that because I was kind of like a D&E student, that the best thing that I could do for myself was to drive a truck. And there's nothing wrong with being a truck driver, but man, there's not, it takes putting your hands on a wheel and kind of looking around and driving from here to California, Florida to California. It's pretty simple. But then, and I got a paycheck and it was great. But I just didn't want to work till age 65 and then go sit on my butt, and then they call that retirement. I think if you look outside the box, even if you have a job, there's so many part-time opportunities, business opportunities. There's multi-level network marketing opportunities. There's, Uber. That's like you get in a little car and you can go drive part-time. Man, if you're driven enough and you make up your mind that you're going to do something, you could just drive car part-time and make a real good income. So for those of you that are just sitting there wondering, I'm not happy with my job, but I stay here because it pays my bills, it's not a bad thing. But what if there's something else out there for you? What if? Are you willing to discover that new world, or are you just going to be stuck in what you got? If you're unhappy, why would you stay inside of that unhappiness? Be happy. Find something else, create a new life for yourself. It's so possible. 15 years ago, when I had the opportunity to become a financial advisor, and I had to get a few licenses, and I did that. And then when I started that, I could not even spell out in my checkbook. You have to write the person's name who you write a check to, and then $200. I was like scared to write $200, the letters.
Yeah.
I was so scared I would make a mistake. And today I'm more confident because I write my own checks now. And anybody can do that. It's not like I've got this, I was born with a special gift. Well, I am a special gift. You got to discover that for yourself, who you are. But really, anybody with a job, you can go outside the box and create a life you truly love. You're not stuck. Create freedom for yourself.
But don't certain factors come into play, like fear, complaining, negativity? How does a person that feels like they're stuck get past all these types of negative influences?
Well, set goals. That's the first thing. You got to be goal driven. See, if you have any fear or you have any doubt about yourself, you're making up stuff. And all those things that you're making up, those thoughts and those feelings and that fear and the insecurity that you have is in yourself. It's in yourself, and where it's happening, it's not happening right now. Your insecurity, your doubt, your fear, all those things that's happening as thoughts that about things that have already happened to you. You might have failed in business. You might have lost the real estate. You might have gone through a divorce. You might have put money in the stock market. You living your life like it's still happening from the past. In my view, to overcome that, you got to be willing to look ahead. You got to be willing to plan. If you got to plan at least 30 days ahead. You got to at least plan 90 days ahead, like a quarter ahead. You got to have annual plans, and then put the plans up. Put them up in front of your desk. Have them ring on your phone. Write them on a piece of paper. Read them every day. There's one of the things I've taken on for myself in my life. Every morning I read my yearly goals. I read them so I can be present to them, and every day I strive to make sure I meet those goals. And sometimes I fail. See, but failure, it's better to fail because you can learn from your failure instead of being resigned, sitting back on the couch, having tea. Not bad, but you're not going to get where you really want. Live a life of purpose. Live a life of fulfillment. Live a life you love. It's not necessary to live from the past. Create a new future.
Wow. That's an empowering message. And you just touch upon something which doesn't ask you about, and that's purpose. What advice can you give somebody that you know or somebody you don't know, and it could be someone listening right now, or it could be someone listening to this, recorded in the, whatever time frame that it is. What advice would you give somebody about purpose?
Well, you got to live a purpose-driven life. I think we have all, when I think of purpose, I think of my mother and my father. They gave me life. Just like anybody that's listening to this or watching this, your family gave you life. And, the reality of that is, they don't owe you anything anymore. They don't. They gave you your life. And you're going to live your life the way you live your life. And you, only you, in that chair or wherever you're watching this from, can create what's ahead of you. And that's called purpose. What is your purpose? What are you going to give back? I think, if I think of purpose, it's about giving back. It's not about holding for yourself. Give and you receive more. That's what I'm present to. And you got to find your true, real purpose. If there's one person that listens to this or watches this, and just like, man, I can breathe a little hope into you, a little bit of faith into you, a little bit of trust into you, you are just unique. If you're just watching this, you got to find your uniqueness. And once you find who you really are, you can write the book you always wanted to write. You can change the job you always wanted to change. You can be in the relationship you always wanted to be in. You can, if you wanted to have children, you can have children. You can have anything you want, but you got to have a purpose, and you got to start becoming purpose-driven. That's my view.
Have a purpose, be purpose-driven. And another thing I think that, comes into play also is self-nurturing and taking care of yourself. You do a lot of self-nurturing, don't you?
I absolutely do. There's one thing I believe in, and Airborne can thank me. They can thank me for that. I love taking Airborne. I haven't been sick in a long time, but it's also my brain that thinks Airborne is really good for me, and that's the truth. I take an Airborne a day. I take my multivitamins. I eat as healthy as I can eat, and then. But there is something I do. I keep my brain healthy. I read good books. I hang out with good people like Mark. I hang out with good people all the time. And I think that's what keeps me healthy. Besides that, I exercise. That's important to me. And I always register for things. I'm doing a triathlon. I'm doing a rugby game. I always register for something. You can always sign, you can always think of doing things. But when you sign up for something, when you register for something, a new life starts happening for you. And that's one of the things I take on in my own health. I promise I go to the gym. And then what happens? I go to the gym. I don't skip the gym. I went for about a mile walk just this afternoon with my sweetheart. I think it's so important to walk and to do the healthy things of life. What, are you going to wait till you're 65 and then start walking? The weather is so gorgeous in Florida right now. Get outside. Go right now. Wherever you are. Put your computer off and go for a walk and just breathe. Enjoy life. Live a healthy life.
Wow, Rocco. Very, very positive. Great stuff. Well, listen, we're going to close off the show, and I really do appreciate you having it on. If someone wants to find Rocco and get a hold of you, what's the best way that someone can get a hold of you?
Wow, you can go to my website, which is need, N-E-E-D, like you need, wisdom, So needwisdom.com. That's the best place to find me. My email is on there. My phone number is on there. And that's it. It's just been a pleasure to be with you, Mark. And thank you for those of you that were watching. And, you know, just blessings to you. Be faithful and free in the new year and just create for yourself a really great life. It's been an honor to be with you.
So that's www.needwisdom.com, and have all your information for Rocco.
That's right. That's it.
And you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Well, thank you. I appreciate being on your show, Mark, and have a great day. Thank you.